All right, well, without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. I'd like to welcome you to the City High Middle School Open House and Recruitment Night. My name is Ryan Huppert, and I am the head principal here. And also joining us from our staff is Mr. Jesse Antema, who is actually our International Baccalaureate Coordinator. And so both Mr. Antema and I are here to really answer any questions that you guys might have and to share about our program. So we hope you enjoy the presentation. So City High Middle School, we are located at 1720 Plainfield on a large and lovely campus that's actually the former home to what's known or was known as Creston High School, and a building that's been here since 1922. So what is City High Middle? And I guess even better, who are we? Well, City High Middle School has a great reputation as a top performing high school and middle school. So we're combined middle school, grades 7 through 12, and we're a top performing school. City students really are expected to maintain very high standards of personal and academic integrity. And by doing so, we really do create a great culture that is one that prepares students very well for their next steps in life in college, university, and career. And we're also an International Baccalaureate World School. And so what does that mean? The International Baccalaureate model is focused on a well-rounded education. So we truly encourage open-mindedness and appreciation of diverse perspectives, and really challenging students to be critical thinkers. Part of the International Baccalaureate's mission statement is that other people with their differences can also be right. And so we're really challenging students to be critical thinkers and not just to find what would be perceived as maybe the one right answer, but to academically research material and come to their own conclusions and be able to justify why what they believe is true. We're also a center for economicology, and that's a big word, but economicology is really a combination of the words economics and ecology. And so it's quite synonymous with sustainability. And that's a theme that we have here at City and something that we value very highly. And really the end goal of that is to help students and families live more sustainable lives through studying the environment, economy, ecology, and our connection to the community and the broader world. But probably most importantly, and maybe a big reason why a lot of people choose City, is because we're a really positive place where all students belong. So we have a long tradition of being a very tolerant and open-minded, accepting place where all students can find a place to belong and be themselves. So here are some of our demographics. Currently, we have approximately 900 students in grades 7 through 12. There's a main office staff consists of 4 administrators along with our clerical staff. We have a great team of 3 counselors, a middle school counselor, a 9th and 10th grade counselor, and an 11th and 12th grade counselor. And then we have 42 full-time teachers. And as you can see in the chart on the right, we really do have a good diverse mix of students here at City. There's truly, I'd say, students from all walks of life, all demographics and backgrounds. There's lots of languages spoken here, lots of different religious beliefs, and ultimately, I think we make up a very diverse and tolerant community in that way, where so many different students with so many different backgrounds get along so well, and it makes really the community a beautiful place here at City. Here's some of our social media links. We'll also be posting this presentation to these social media platforms in case you want to go back and view it afterwards. So why choose City? Well, maybe this is, selfish and we're a little bit biased, but we do have the best teachers. We really feel that. And that's because teachers at City are dedicated to an international baccalaureate style of education and are trained specifically in their content areas around the international baccalaureate model. And so we're going to hear from a few teachers now. think we need to get the volume right. Just one moment.
Prepare you for the next steps in your life.
One of the things I like most about City is that staff will literally do anything for students, including wear a silly hat.
And my favorite thing about City is that it's full of smart, interesting kids that work hard in order to be successful.
Something that I really love about City is that it has a great community of students and faculty, and we're always here to support each other.
Hello everyone, my name
Just one moment, please. Click the video pause.
is Jesse Ansel. I'm one of the administrators here at City. My specific title is that of the IB coordinator. In a nutshell, IB is designed to develop individuals who inquire about the situations around them, who are knowledgeable and can speak into those situations, as well as those who have compassion, not only for their school, for their neighbors, for their families, but also the communities and peoples around the world. Here at City, we have two main programs. The MYP, the middle year program, that is for grades 7 through 10. And then we have the DP, the diploma program. That's kind of like our juniors and our seniors. And the MYP, the middle year program, you are going to have, in addition to your classes, something called CAS, which is Creativity Activity Service. This is something that IB identifies as a core component. It's unique to this curriculum. With our high academic standards and rigor that we do have, the expectations we have for a student, we also want to achieve some semblance of life balance. And so the CAS is really designed to encourage kids to pursue creative pursuits, to be physically healthy, and to enact some actual change in the circles in which they're a part of. Thank you for considering City. We would love to have you be part of our community here.
So if I could say one thing, I would say come, because the community is incredible. We have such a diverse population of people that have amazing ideas, work hard, and have tons of fun. We're doing all kinds of cool stuff here. So you should come on board.
So those are the voices of some of our teachers who we think represent our school really well. And we've worked really hard to bring on some of the best staff to do that. And along with that staff is a great counseling department and support team. So again, my name is Ryan Huppert. I'm the principal. We have an assistant principal, school improvement facilitator, and IB coordinator with Mr. Antema. Our head secretary is Alicia Albin. We have a registrar who helps with scheduling and credit and transcripts. And then there's the listing of our school counselors, as well as an emotional health and well-being support specialist. She's our E3 therapist, and she's dedicated full-time to supporting students with their emotional health, Ms. Back, and then a student advocate, Mr. Brace. So we absolutely value parent engagement, and without parents partnering with us, City wouldn't be the place it is. And to that end, we have an amazing PTSA, which does a great job supporting our school community, from families to students to our staff, through fun events and fundraising. And so we encourage you to join the PTSA if you come to City. And we'd like to hear from a couple of our families here, and the videos included.
One.
Hello everybody, my name is Johanny Torres, and I'm here with my daughters Hannah and Ariana to tell you some things we appreciate about City. For me, having a voice as a parent has been very important. I appreciate how receptive the staff, the teachers, the principal have been through the years whenever there's been any concerns, and how open they are to have parents be a part of the program or the planning. I also appreciate how through their strong academic programs, they prepare the kids, not just intellectually, but I feel it has helped my girls become more resilient and get them ready for life as adults after they're done with high school.
I've always really appreciated the diversity that there are through the students, and also the opportunity for the students to partake in clubs to be able to express themselves outside of their classes. Something that I appreciated is how challenging the school is academically, pushing me to be the best student that I could be and really preparing me for college, as well as how small the class sizes were at like 120 students, where we were able to have more personal relationships with our teachers and classmates, making it feel more inclusive.
So in general, we highly recommend City, and we hope that it will be a school for you.
Hi, I'm Ardina Washington, and this is my daughter Madison. And what we like about City is,
even though it's academically challenging, I know it will help me in the future. I also enjoy the teachers. They're very nice and patient with me, and the people, the friends that I made are very nice.
I also like that when we moved here from out of state, the very first visit, we felt welcomed by the staff and the students that we met. It's just a very welcoming environment, and we like that.
So speaking to safety, obviously that's a topic on a lot of people's minds right now with the given situation. But we are a very safe and welcoming environment for students, parents, and staff. Currently, we have a lot of protocols in place to ensure that students are able to go about the building safely and at distance as well. We have protocols for masks and sanitization, etc. But above and beyond the pandemic, we have a really safe campus. We have a safe and secure entrance where all visitors need to come through the main office. We have protocols in place for really all different levels of safety with the school, and are lucky to have 2 public safety officers that are part of our full-time staff, and they're here every day, all day, from before the start of school till after dismissal, making sure that things go smoothly and safely on our campus. So academic achievement, that's something we could talk about for quite a while. We've recently and traditionally had some really amazing accolades, one of which is in 2019, we became a National Blue Ribbon School Award winner, and it's the first National Blue Ribbon School in the Grand Rapids Public School District, in one of the only schools within West Michigan to achieve that year, and so something we're very proud of. We're currently also ranked #1 in the state of Michigan and 21st in the nation, according to U.S. News and World Report. In 2019, we're also a National Title I Distinguished School Finalist for Closing the Gap. We're one of only 3 schools in the state to offer the full IB middle years program and diploma program to all of our students, and that's at no cost to families. Last year, we had 78 International Baccalaureate diplomas earned by City's class of 2020, and that's of course on top of your state of Michigan diploma that you earn as a high school graduate. So another amazing credential that students can use for really matriculating credit at the college and university level. And we were also a Harvard University case study school for our collaborative leadership initiatives in 2019, something we're very proud of. So we have a variety of different academic supports, and that includes obviously the relationships and systems that teachers bring to their classrooms and to their learning community within their classroom, that extends oftentimes beyond the traditional school day in terms of support and availability for students. We also have currently a Well Zone Wednesday where we have virtual learning occurring on Wednesdays, where we have tutoring available, a work zone for students to work collaboratively. We have our emotional well-being specialist, our E3 specialist, Ms. Back, available to meet with students, and then administrative office hours and teacher office hours available as well. And we'll hear from one of our students, Vishnu Mano, to tell a little bit about his experience.
Hello, my name is Vishnu Mano, and I'm a sophomore at City High. I transferred here this past September and have enjoyed my first semester. I'm really thankful for the virtual option that City High is offering amidst this pandemic. As a new student who has had zero experience with the IB program before, the teachers and the staff have been so helpful in terms of helping me understand how the curriculum at City works. I felt so welcomed by the teachers, students, and staff. The main thing I love about City High is the dedication of the teachers and staff, as well as the depth of the topics we cover in class instead of just scratching the surface. The coursework here at City requires us to use analytical techniques in all of our subjects, which helps me build a stronger understanding for the concepts we are learning. I've enjoyed City High so much, and I'm looking forward to the years to come. Thank you.
As far as offerings that occur after school hours and some of the extracurriculars that are really embedded into the school experience and beyond, we have athletics. We have the full range of middle school sport offerings, and we have our own teams here at City. And we've done very well with basketball, volleyball, soccer, etc., cross country, you name it. And swimming, we really are proud of our athletic teams at the middle school level. And then City offers athletics at the high school level through students' home schools. And so if you live on the north or the west side, you get to play for Union. And then on the south or the east side, and you play for Ottawa Hills. And many of our students play on lots of those teams. And so regardless of which school you may be playing with at the high school level, there will be City students who are a part of it, which helps with that sense of community. We also have a really wide range of extracurriculars that are academic and performance oriented. We have a very active environmental club that's student run. We have very successful speech, debate, forensics, and model UN clubs and teams that have been competing regionally at the state level and nationally and winning various levels of awards through that. We have a student run City Voice newspaper. It has a great online presence as well. And so students are the main contributors to that and run it. We also have a really active and successful musical theater program where each fall students are part of a large musical that is something that we perform here in our auditorium and sell tickets to the broader community and generally sell out our performances and are very proud of the musical theater that they do. Also, students who participate in band, orchestra, and choir are engaged in various performances throughout the community, such as the Santa Day Parade, certainly playing for the GRPS football teams at Hausman Field in the fall, orchestra performances, and community choir performances as well. Various clubs that we offer, and we also have a process for any student who's inspired and wants to start their own club. There's a process for them to do that. And so we like to empower students to really pursue the things that they're passionate about. We also have a variety of different partnerships and special programs. So obviously, as an international baccalaureate world school, we have various partnerships and collaborations with the International Baccalaureate Schools of Michigan and the continued professional development and training for all of our teachers and the best practices. We're also a annual recipient of the Wege Foundation, and that's in support of our sustainability theme with economicology that allows us to support various initiatives from sending students to camp, sending students abroad, and pursuing a variety of different sustainability initiatives on our campus, such as our greenhouse, our Green Campus program. We're also a Michigan Green School. We do activities around place-based education and professional development with Groundswell and the Green Network. We partner also with the North End Wellness Coalition, which is a local community-based organization, Junior Achievement, New City Kids, and more. All right, at this time, we would like to make sure we're speaking to some of the specific questions that you all have. So I think we can pause our screen sharing and open it up to hear what are the questions that folks have that are specific that we can help with. So anybody's welcome to unmute their microphone or simply post them in the chat if that's what you'd prefer, and we'll monitor that. while people are considering questions, one thing I will share is a few more nuts and bolts. Our school day is from 8 to 2:41, and we have a modified block schedule. So certain days students are in, say, an hour and a half long class, but they only attend half of them. Other days the classes are approximately 50 minutes and they go to 7 of them. So we have a variety of kind of long class format and then short class formats. Long class format, the block schedule lends itself really well to some of the project-based things, assessments, presentations, etc., digging a little deeper. And we also have a half an hour lunch period in the middle of the day with 2 separate lunches. We offer free breakfast and free lunch for all students currently. Somebody did post a question about how students are selected. So yeah, it is an academic select school. And so the way that works is by filling out the theme school application, which is currently open for round 1 till the end of this month, students are required to submit their MAP scores. And so that's a nationally recognized, nationally normed, standardized test. And students need to achieve at or above the 50th percentile national ranking in reading and math. And then if they do that, they are then entered into a lottery and students are selected in that way. If you currently attend a Grand Rapids Public School, then your student has a MAP test that they take as a part of their school program already. And then if not, if you start your school application now, there's the ability to sign up for MAP test sessions, which are open to the public during the second half of this month. And that's something we encourage people to do to make sure that their application is fully considered. Another question is around CFE, and the CFE program is a actual separate school that exists on our campus. That's for 6th graders only. And we have a presentation that we presented similar to this one earlier this evening that we will be posting to our social media and our school website so that anybody who wasn't able to attend can view that and get all the information that was shared similar to this presentation tonight. Apologies for any mislabeling. I'm not sure if that was posted incorrectly by our IT department, but will be available on the website, both the city presentation and the CFE presentation for anyone to view at a later time.
Mr. Hutt, there was an initial question that was posted before the one you initially answered in the question.
Oh, sure.
Friendly. Just wanted to make sure we didn't miss that one.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Yeah, city is very much really friendly to all students, regardless of how they identify. And so we absolutely have a kind of a thriving population of students that maybe don't necessarily find the same kind of safe havens as they do in other schools. We have really, I'd say, a really open and active group of students that may identify as LGBTQ, and that's something that has been really a tradition at City, and I think a lot of students are happy to find that they can really be themselves and find their niche here at City, so that's absolutely something that we support. Tim Putnam, good to see you, Tim. Tim asks, what are the advantages of the IB diploma? And so really that the International Baccalaureate diploma has its own advantages, but I'd say before that, most importantly, is the education that you receive as an International Baccalaureate student. So the International Baccalaureate program is really second to none and is considered kind of the gold standard of K-12 education that students can receive across the world. So it's kind of equated as an honors program. And so students will be taking through all the way through 12th grade, a variety of courses that dig a little deeper than your average course does in terms of the depth of content. As an IB student, all students take a second language as a full core class. So arts, second languages, all of those things are not considered electives, they're considered core. And so as students graduate from City with the City High diploma, they've already had, if they're here since 7th grade, they'll have 6 full years of world language. And so many students come out with some variety of level of bilingualism. And so students have the ability to then, if they perform well on their International Baccalaureate Diploma exams, they have the ability to gain the IB diploma above and beyond their city diploma. And the advantages of the IB diploma, there are several schools in colleges and universities across the nation that will allow students with an International Baccalaureate Diploma to enter into their college and universities as sophomores. And so obviously that's a huge advantage. But even if you don't achieve the IB diploma, there are certain levels of performance that if students achieve them during their 12th grade IB exams, they can receive credit on a class by class basis for their college and university. So many of our students will gain a semester's worth of college credits. And so they'll enter into their freshman year already kind of moving into their second semester classes. So that translates to a real value at the college and university level. As far as the acceptance number of students that enter into 7th grade each year at City, it's approximately 170. And so that number varies a little bit year to year, but typically we have space for all of the qualified applicants. Sometimes that varies a little bit, but generally we're able to meet the demand of new applicants each year. Next question in the chat is around parent engagement, and students maybe not loving the idea of parents being engaged, and I can understand that. I have a son here myself who is unlucky enough to be the principal's son, so I can tell you about the cringing of parent engagement. But there's really a lot of parent engagement. The vast majority of parent engagement happens behind the scenes, so you won't see really parents necessarily here volunteering, interfacing with the students on a during the day kind of basis. But so many of our fundraising, fun events that occur in the evening for parents that build community happen with parent involvement. Parents also organize behind the scenes our senior celebration night and a lot of the activities that occur for our seniors. Parents also are running all the behind the scenes operations to support our really successful marching band program, as well as our musical theater program. So it's speech and debate. I mean, it goes on and on. The parents are involved in more of a behind the scenes manner, absolutely. As far as Oscar Neal's asking how students are placed into their language courses if they have previous language coursework. And so we have a process where students are able to take an assessment, and we can kind of gain a better understanding of their language ability and make sure that they're put into the appropriate level, most definitely. And so we offer Spanish, French, and Mandarin, and that's available to all students. We have some students who are already bilingual in Spanish, but maybe as a native speaker want to focus on their written language skills, and so they'll test into kind of say a level 3 or 4 in order to focus in on the written language. Some students will actually, feeling comfortable with their second language already, will move into working on a third language. And so we can absolutely accommodate language levels. And the same goes for math. So math is another one where students come in with a variety of levels. And although entering here, you already kind of be at an advanced level by approximately 1 grade level in comparison to other area schools, you can test up higher if math is something you're very strong at already. Another parent asked about buses. We work with Dean Transportation, and so the yellow buses are provided for all middle school students who live within the city limits. If you live outside of the city limits, that transportation is not automatically provided. And then high school students, depending on their ability to qualify as far as their economic levels of their families, can get free passes for the rapid bus. And so we have a bus stop right out front, and actually a couple right on the block here. And a lot of students ride the rapid transportation to and from each school, or to and from school each day at the high school level. Other questions that folks might have? I guess as we're waiting for a few more questions to maybe come up, another resource that a lot of parents are really happy about, whether you're very much into social media or not, we do have a very active closed Facebook group for our parents. It's called the City High Middle Village. And again, it's a closed group, but we have, last I checked, over 700 members. And honestly, any question that you have as a parent here, within minutes of posting it, someone is posting an answer, linking you to another family member or staff member that can help you if there's more information or support needed. So we've really got a great resource in our community through that as well. As far as the timeline that people can expect to see acceptances, et cetera, for those people who are applying, again, you're going to apply. I encourage you to do that in the first round, which is up till the end of the month of February. You can always apply after, as more selections will be occurring during the later parts of the spring. Generally speaking, people will find out about their first round application acceptances towards the end of the month of March. Sometimes that can happen a bit sooner, but generally speaking, it's towards the end of March. Selections technically are handled by our central office. That is done on a basically on, as I mentioned before, with the lottery basis, a blind application, and so names are removed and students are entered into the lottery. All students at or above the 50th percentile. The only preferences that students can get in that selection process is if they have a sibling here that gains some preference, or children of staff members within the school district. Somebody also asked about, when do you take the test for placement? So as far as for other schools, really within the GRPS system, there are 4 test-in schools. That is City, Center for Economic Ecology 6th grade, Blandford 6th grade, and Zoo's 6th grade schools. And generally speaking, everyone who is applying will need a MAP score. The soonest it's offered on a widespread level to anybody who's coming from out of the district is really beginning next week. So if you sign up, or if you fill out your application now, you'll have the ability to sign up for an out-of-district MAP test session, so you can come in and take that. And then students who are in the district take the MAP test in the fall. They're taking the MAP test actually this month now, currently in February, and then they'll take it again in the spring, April-ish. And so if students maybe didn't hit the mark that they needed to in the fall or the winter, they have the ability to do that again in the spring, and they only need to hit that 50th percentile in math and reading at any point during the school year. It doesn't need to be both at once or on the most current. So, and it is reading and math above the 50th percent, unless there are seats available moving into the 3rd round, then they'll consider applicants who are at or above 50th percentile in one or the other. But that's generally later on in the process. Question was around how do we support students dealing with high academic expectations and pressure, and supporting students who are maybe feeling too much of that pressure. And that's absolutely something that we worry about. So we really do have a variety of different things that we've put in place, and something that I've been focused on since becoming a principal here 4 years ago. And that includes things like, we have 1 weekend a month, which is a homework-free weekend. And so we set those dates at the beginning of the school year, and families can plan around that for the entire school year, knowing that 1 weekend every month, there'll be no homework due on that Monday coming back, no new homework assigned the Friday going into it. We also have something which is called our assignment calendar, and we have a policy in place where there cannot be more than 2 major assignments, tests, or projects due on any given day. And so teachers actually have to schedule in those larger assignments, assessments, and projects into that assignment calendar. And if there's already 2 that are going to be due on a certain day for any one given grade level, then they have to find another date in order for that to be due. And that's one way that we help to balance out that workload as well. one question was around how many classes there are a day. And so basically, as I mentioned before, we do have, there's 7 core classes. We have an 8th class, which is kind of like a homeroom, 8th hour, which meets once per week for an hour and a half. But generally speaking, there's 7 core classes, and you attend all 7 for approximately 50 minutes on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. So at the beginning of the week and the end of the week, you're seeing all your teachers 1 through 7. On Wednesday and Thursday, they go to half of those classes, but they're twice as long. And so those we call our block days. And so on Wednesday, you would go to hours 1, 3, 5, and 7 for approximately 90 minutes. And then on Thursday, you would go to the even numbered classes, 2, 4, 6, and then you'd have that 8th hour class that occurs once a week on Thursdays as well. So it's kind of a modified block schedule that allows us to have some of the shorter class periods where students are getting to see their teachers more frequently, and then the bigger block hours in the middle of the week where teachers and students can dig into some of the more deeper learning and longer projects and presentations, etc. It is a little bit confusing, but it makes sense once students get here and kind of go through a week of it, it becomes pretty clear. As far as protocols that we have in place for students with allergies, we absolutely, having almost 1,000 students on our campus, there's most definitely students who have varying levels of allergy and severity of allergies. And so the food service department's really good about avoiding the nut butters and things that are kind of a general red flag for a lot of students. And so they wipe down all the lunch tables in between each lunch to make sure there's not any issues with that. And then there's also a variety of options that students can choose from a salad bar for our vegetarians, vegetarian hot food options, and then a variety of choices that students can pick and choose and make sure that they're getting something that agrees with them for lunch. And again, currently through an FDA grant, all of our breakfast and lunches are free to all of our students. A lot of students also pack their own lunches or bring a hot lunch, and we have microwaves available actually that our PTSA has donated to the school. So there's a lot of students who will bring in their own food and heat it up and approach lunch that way.
Mr. Huppert, there was also a question regarding homework. What are the homework expectations or amounts?
Yeah, so thank you, Mr. Antema. So we, as an academically advanced school, we absolutely have a higher workload than your average high school. And that's something that it really is a kind of a part of the program here at City. And I think that we see really a wide variety in terms of the amount of work that students, I guess a wide variety in terms of the time that it takes for students to do work. I would say on average, it's approximately an hour and a half every night. For some students, that's more like 2 hours. For some students who move through it quicker or are using a lot of their downtime at the end of class to do it, it's more like an hour. There are students who maybe choose not to do any homework for a night or two, and then they do a couple few hours for those procrastinators out there in the world who work better under pressure. But if you're balancing out your workload, you could expect anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 hours. I would say on average, it's probably an hour, hour and a half. And that is something that, again, we try to make sure that it's a balance. And we do that through those things such as the assignment calendar, et cetera. And we encourage students to advocate and let us know if they're feeling too much or not enough, I guess, challenge. And so we definitely have conversations with students and staff about that all the time, trying to strike the right balance. Somebody also asked about food service during the pandemic right now. So currently we've been offering sack lunches, but we're moving into a couple of hot items that are also going to be provided, such as a soup or a different hot food choice each day. We do not have a salad bar open right now for some of the reasons that obviously are associated with the pandemic and trying to avoid contamination, et cetera. But we are really thrilled to be able to offer our in-person classes really successfully right now. We've had not had to deal with any of the more significant issues that are associated with gathering of people, and that fingers crossed will continue. And that's through a lot of the protocols we put in place. We have one-way hallways, one-way stairways to avoid students coming close face to face. Each classroom is able to space out all their students at 6 feet. We require all students and all staff to wear masks each day and all day, other than when they're eating lunch. We have social distancing in the cafeteria as well, with QR codes set up for students to choose their own seat and for us to track that should we need to do any contact tracing. We also have students filling out a student screener each day when they come to school, so we can make sure students are staying home if they're not feeling well. And currently with the pandemic, the district has allocated Chromebooks to every student who's asked for one. And so students currently are taking those to and from school each day, which has been a great resource for a lot of our families. As far as, I think we've got a question again about food options. And so we have really an awesome food service staff. They've been really kind and accommodating. And so students will often say, hey, we'd love to see this food item come back, or we'd like more of this or more of that. And to the extent that they're able, they're really accommodating with that. And students have been really happy with the different options that are hopefully in line with students' different needs and preferences, from vegetarians on. And that's something that we continue to try to adjust and cater to the extent we can for students with food preferences.
There was also a question, Mr. Hubbard, about whether or not we allow students to go off campus for lunch.
Yeah, so currently that's not in place with the current situation of things, but traditionally, and something that I think we'll be able to continue to offer, is we allow students who are seniors only with a special permission form from their parents to have an off-campus permission form to be able to go and grab a lunch during the lunch period. And that's currently the extent of the ability to go off campus.
As we're waiting for potentially a couple more questions to come in through the chat, or you can unmute yourself and speak them out. I'm also going to share a link in the chat. This is our school-based IB website, and there is a massive amount of content and information specific to IB up there that you and your student can look through. Two of the things I might direct your attention to are on the resources tab. There's an MYP overview video and a DP overview video. Roughly 10-minute videos that kind of give you a full spectrum idea, walk through each of the programs, highlight some of the main components, and again, the approaches to learning, the ways in which your students are going to be guided and directed into their academic, but also their holistic growth. One of the big things about IB is that we're developing young people, citizens of this world, that are able to enact some empathetic and intentional, courageous change in the world around them. So in order to do so, not only do we have to be critical thinkers to be smart, but we also need to know how to engage well with others and have a good sense of who we are as an individual, so that we can better understand our relationship to others and the capacity to catalyze some change around them. So please take a look at the chat. If you have any questions about IB or about city in general, please don't hesitate to reach out to Mr. Hubbard or myself or any other of our administrative staff. We'd be happy to answer your questions.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ansmo. That is a great resource. You can learn a lot about our program there. Again, also encourage you to go to our Facebook page and our school website as well, which has calendar and a ton of other resources linked to it. We also have an amazing newsletter that's sent out every Friday. So if you come on board with the city community every week, it's anywhere from 10 to 20 pages of information that is specific to each week. It's called our Friday City Highlights. And that comes out and is put together by our head secretary, Mrs. Alvin, who is top notch. And so we do we try to do a really good job of keeping our families informed through some of those systems, and we think we're doing a good job of it. I know it's sometimes you can never have enough communication, but we try to send it out in all the different channels that people prefer to access it from.
Mr. Hubbard, there was another question that came up regarding supports and maybe some environmental characteristics or offerings that we have for students with disabilities.
Yeah, and so obviously we are an ADA friendly facility, and so we have things in place on any given day, week, month of the year. We have students with a variety of different disabilities, be it physical or other, and so we absolutely accommodate those through kind of whatever the adjustments are that need to be made. We have a really caring staff in our health office, and again, our health office, we recently sought out a grant to have this emotional therapist there full time for 3 years. So Mrs. Back's office is actually located in our health center. So whatever your health needs are, be it physical, mental, or emotional, we can service those through our health center in a more holistic way, which is something that we're really excited to be able to do. A question did just come in about, Zoo Blandford CFE students, and do they potentially have preference? And so technically, no, but I will say that traditionally, the majority of our 7th graders are made up of the 6th graders who are coming from those schools. And so the only, I guess, assurance that I can give you is that, if you were able to qualify for the 6th grade, it's the same criteria to enter into the 7th grade. So generally speaking, students who choose to go to Zoo Blandford CFE who apply to City in the first round generally find no issue and come on board with that. And it's a nice, I guess, thing in terms of community, that a lot of students who come from those schools have friends, etc. But within a year, usually students are in that middle school mix and making new friends, and we kind of see those walls crumble down, and more of the students finding their circles of friends that transcend whatever school they may have come from, because we absolutely have kids that come from just about every school across our city and county, be it private, be it charter, be it public schools, whether they're coming in 7th grade, whether they're coming in 9th grade. Students come in and they find their place. And student asked about it, being a big school, potentially a student here asking, I'm not sure, but it is a big campus. However, we have put together a ton of resources to help kids find their way. Actually, didn't want to just bore you guys with a ton of videos in this, but we actually have many more videos, some of which are actually students touring the building with maps associated with it. We have also videos that show students how we're maybe moving about the building differently with some of the social distancing and safety practices in place. So yeah, absolutely. We realize it's a big challenge coming here on your first day, and we have a team of students that are actually dedicated to helping kids find their way, and those are our student ambassadors. And so that's students that are volunteering or have been asked because they're example students that know City well, know how to be welcoming, and they're actually, in the first days of school, we have them stationed throughout the hallways and at various corners, just helping kids find their way around school, making them feel comfortable. So I would say if that's something that's on your mind, don't let that be a deterrent. Don't worry about that. It only seems big for a couple of days. Once you find your way, you'll never have an issue. I don't think anybody chooses not to go here because they have a hard time getting around. Once you figure it out, you got it figured out, and it's not too hard to do. That's somebody posted a good question about, is there a part of the school that's just middle or just for high school? So aside from our 6th grade campus is just our Center for Economic Ecology. They're actually in their own building in the back. But the rest of the campus, it is shared by our 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. However, generally speaking, your courses and your classes are going to be made up of students within the same grade level, give or take, for some of the language or math. But generally speaking, you're in class with students of the same grade. And honestly, we have I guess the vast majority of, say, our juniors, seniors, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, they were middle schoolers here too. And so they do a really good job of kind of playing that, big sibling role and looking out for the younger ones. We have very few behavior issues, thankfully. I mean, kids will be kids, but the issues we do have are usually middle schoolers doing silly things with middle schoolers. I can't say as though I've ever, in the many years I've worked here, had a behavior issue related to an older student, taking advantage of or messing, goofing off with a younger student in a way that they were offended. Honestly, I can't think of a single example of that, so that's not something I would worry about. Other questions that folks may have. We're fine with the wait time. Done enough of these Zoom calls where we know a little pause is maybe a good time for people to put their thoughts together. As I mentioned earlier, for sports, somebody asked about that. For middle school, we offer the full range of middle school sports. That includes guys and girls, soccer, basketball, girls volleyball, swimming, co-ed cross country,
Bowling,
wrestling, quite a variety. The same as all the other middle schools in Grand Rapids Public Schools. And they practice right here in our facility. We're lucky enough to have a really beautiful large lower gym, and we have a smaller upper gym. We have a weight room, and then we also have our own swimming pool. And so at the high school level, though, the sports that you would be playing are played at either Ottawa or Union. And so students take an athletic shuttle bus that's provided by school to head over for those. We also offer baseball, and depending on turnout each year, the district does have middle school football, just depending on the numbers. But yeah, bowling has been available for our middle schoolers, and for our 6th grade CFE. Generally speaking, if they don't have a large enough team to kind of field or take, the ability to really compete as their own team, they'll blend in with our 7th and 8th graders, depending, so we can make sure to field the team when whatever that sport is and the requirements are for it. I will say that sports are something that we've traditionally not necessarily been known for, because we don't field our own high school teams. However, with middle school, we have some of the highest performing teams and often are winning different championships. And then students do continue to participate with athletics at the high school level, again, through those base teams. And each year we have students that are, continuing on into the college level with sports and who are getting signed with scholarships each year in a variety of sports. And so if you're interested in being an athlete and continuing your academic focus, you can certainly do that with City. Something we like to say is that City is really made up of kids that are academically oriented, artistically oriented, athletically, and also activists. So we have students that are really very much passionate about social justice and political activities. And so they're constantly getting us to kind of work with them to promote some of those things. And that's really exciting. We want students to be engaged citizens, and so we love supporting that. As far as the breakdown of when certain sports are offered, yeah, depends on the season. And so soccer is a fall sport. We have volleyball and basketball also in the fall or winter, with baseball in the spring. And so different seasons definitely perform, different sports perform in different seasons. Most of the teams are separate in terms of gender, but things like cross country and bowling are co-ed. So it just depends on the sport. Any other final questions we can answer for anyone? While you're thinking about that, I'll just remind everyone that this has been recorded, so we will be able to post this to our website and social media, and that we're always just a phone call or an email away. Should anybody think of a question at a later time, we're absolutely available to help and happy to share about our program. We're very proud of City. City's an amazing place to be. It requires all of us, both staff and students, to work hard. We do work really hard. It's not easy, but and that's I think why we do it, is to make sure students do have a healthy level of challenge and adversity in their life. And through that, students who put forth their best effort here, and not always necessarily, you don't need to be the smartest student on the SAT test to be successful here. We see the most successful students are the ones that are organized, diligent, and take care of business, don't have those missing assignments, or communicating with their teachers. And if you put forth that great effort here, I can guarantee you, you're going to be one of the best prepared students at the freshman level at any college and university campus in the country.
And in addition to that, you don't have to have those skills coming into City. Those skills are very intentionally developed through the courses and in each classroom each year.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great point. Being a middle schooler is not easy. You're figuring out a lot of things and getting organized and learning how to use your planner and trying not to procrastinate. Doesn't come naturally most of the time. And so absolutely, Mr. Antrim is right. We try to teach those skills and help students to learn those good habits of mind. I guess as we wrap up, last question here is, currently we do have students have the ability to either choose to work remotely or virtually with the pandemic, or students can come into school for 2 days a week. We see that more than likely continuing through the end of this school year, and we just don't know what next year looks like yet. So I can't say how the format will be, but hopefully we'll be back in person as to the extent possible. So I just want to thank you all for attending, and appreciate your interest in City. We're here to serve you all. So again, as you think of questions or want to reach out to us, don't hesitate. We're here to answer any questions we can. And again, we really appreciate your interest in City. Thanks so much for attending. Have a great night.